Welcome, Chad Kneller, to Wealth Matters podcast. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Alpesh. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. And I want to introduce Chad again. He's co-author of my book, Resilience, Turning Your Setback into a Comeback. And he has also written another book, which we'll speak about during this podcast. So, Chad, can you tell my listeners what do you do?
Sure. My name's Chad Kneller, and I'm a full-time network marketer. I'm also an author. Live here in the Nashville, Tennessee area with my wife and our three kiddos.
Awesome. You just mentioned network marketer. What is network marketing? Is it similar to multi-level marketing?
Yeah. There's a lot of names for it. I've heard it called MLM, multi-level marketing, network marketing, relationship marketing. But basically what it is it's really online franchising. So instead of having buildings, we just have online stores. And, when you think of franchising, you think of how franchises always want to obtain customers, and then they want to build other buildings and recruit others to become franchise owners and
Right.
do the same thing. So that's what we do. We just do it online.
Interesting. How did you get started with network marketing?
So that's a great question. My first job I ever had, I was 16 years old, and I worked at McDonald's.
Wow.
And I worked with this girl named Tina, and I went off into the military for 3 years after high school. And when I came back to the military, I ran into Tina, and she had her first baby and got married and asked if I want to come over to their house and have dinner with her and her husband. And so I went over there, and they started handing me magazines and showing me a magazine of houses and a magazine of cars. And then they asked what my favorite one was. And after I showed them, they said, how was I going to get that? And I said, well, I have no idea, because that's too nice of a house and too nice of a car for someone like me to ever have. And they showed me this whole concept of network marketing. This was back in 1994. So that's when I
Wow. So it's been around for a while.
Yes, it has.
What was your high and low point after you started network marketing? Any lessons you have learned?
Oh, definitely. So I've been with 5 companies, 5 different
Oh,
companies
wow.
for the years. Yeah. And so I think when I first joined, when I first learned about it, I thought, oh my gosh, everyone I talk to and show this to is going to think about it the same way that I think about it. And what I realized was a lot of the people that I showed the idea of this industry to, they just didn't get it, didn't have a brain cell for it, thought it was ridiculous, thought I'd been duped, and just weren't interested at all. So that was probably a low point. High point was back in 2012. Well, I'll say 2013. I joined the company I'm with now in 2012. But in 2013, we went to our first major conference with this company. And I just really saw a lot of people who were just normal people who were making these crazy incomes like I'd always believed I could, and I just hadn't yet at that point. And then over that next year, just really, we made multiple 6 figures that next year in 2013, and we've made more than that.
Awesome.
Yes.
So why network marketing?
Well, I love network marketing for a few reasons. The first one is that I can build a residual income. I've always thought it's better to work today and benefit from my work I do today, not just tomorrow or next month, but I can benefit from work I do today next year, 5 years from now. So I love the residual income. I love the leverage that I can partner with other people and I can help them. And the more successful they are, the more successful I am. And I can actually earn income from my efforts and others' efforts. So similar to in real estate, you have agents and you have brokers. And so
Right.
I'd rather be a broker than an agent. That's just the way I think. Proven system is another great reason for network marketing. You can find someone who's had success and they want to teach you how to be successful. So we have a saying that it's okay to be a copycat if you copy the right cat. And so just partnering with someone who actually knows what they're doing, having that mentor, and then a low startup. I mean, when I looked at traditional business back in the day, you can't really find a traditional business for less than $100,000 or $200,000 and put together a 3 to 5 year plan to get your money back. And in most network marketing companies, it's less than $1,000 to get started. And with our company, it's only $99. So very low entry and very high payoff.
That's a very low entry point. If you don't have your coffee for a month, you can easily pay for that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad that you brought up a point about team, and that's what I preach here on the podcast. That if you want to build your real estate or any other, passive income, passive cash flow, you got to build a team, and if you are able to, leverage someone who has already done it, why not? Right.
Hmm.
So why does network marketing get a bad rep? That's how I even personally looked at it. When someone came to me and they spoke about, oh, I own this business, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to join? And I'm like, because I'm walking around in a grocery store. I don't even know him. And this guy will walk to me and talk about his business. Come on.
Yeah, I see that there's obviously a right, just like anything in life, there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And unfortunately, a lot of people go out there and they present network marketing as it's easy, you're going to get rich so fast. And, people know that that's not true. All things worthwhile in life are uphill. And so it's going to be work, and you got to put in the time, you got to put in the grind. So it's definitely not get rich quick. And the other thing is, because it's such a low startup, I mean, when someone spends $99, they might not take it very seriously, and so
Right.
a lot of people look at this almost like a scratch off lottery ticket. They join
Yeah.
and they say, well, I know about 5 people and I'm going to go ask if they'll do it with me. And hopefully they'll be willing to work it harder than I am. And then that way I can make money from what they do. And so when people go and talk to those first 5 people and no one joins, they go, oh, well, this didn't work, I quit. And
I'll
then
do something else.
it has a bad rap. Yeah.
Interesting. So let's say someone is interested in joining a network marketing company. What questions I should be asking an MLM business, so that I can make sure that this business is right for me?
That is a really good question, and I've been asked this one a lot of times, and so I'll give you some of what I look at, because again, as
Sure.
I work with companies, I'd leave one and say I like this about it, I didn't like this about it, and continue to move on. So I've really narrowed it down to there's really 5 areas that you should evaluate, because there are hundreds of network marketing companies out there, and
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
we want to be involved with the best one, right, or the one we have the
Right.
best chance with the best everything. So
Yeah,
I
because
say
you got to make sure they have the same philosophy as yours. That mission statement, is same as your personal mission statement, right?
yes. Yeah. So the first thing I'm always going to look at is the company itself. Who is the CEO? What has this person done in their life? Do they build companies and then sell them off 5 years later? Are they
Okay.
someone who's more concerned with the people? Are they more concerned with the profits? What's their history? And so for me personally, I wouldn't want to get involved with the fly by night. You're looking at about
Of
80%
course.
or more don't make it past 5 years. So I'm always looking at, has this company established itself? Is this a company that's been there and stood the test of time? What is the third party documentation saying about it? Because obviously whoever works for a company and whoever's in the company has nothing but great things.
Right.
So what is Fortune magazine saying about them? What is Inc. 500 saying about them? So I'm going to evaluate the company and look at what the company's done. How many millions in sales did they do last year? So I'm going to look at those things. The second thing is what do they have to offer? What are the
Okay.
products and the services? Are they affordable? Can the average person afford? I see in this industry a lot that you can't get involved. You can't even sign up as a customer for less than $100 plus a month. And that automatically prices out a lot of people who just can't
Right.
afford that.
That's a great point, right? Affordability. So
Yes.
you know who you are targeting, and if you can target more users, then of course it's better. More the merrier.
Yeah, and then the need in the marketplace. Do we need it? I mean, this would be a bad time to go open up a DVD store. Like which is really smart, right?
Right.
We're trying to sell some, telephones that stay hooked to your wall. It's probably
Right.
not gonna be a good time
That's
to
not a good idea.
so you gotta try and see the trends that are coming, and is there a need in our marketplace? And then the compensation plan. I mean, there's companies out there that aren't paying hardly anything for our efforts, and then there's other companies that pay very, very well. So industry standard is most companies will pay 30 to 35% of whatever the company receives back out into the sales force. And if you can get around
Okay.
45 plus, then you're really looking at a company that really values its people and they're paying its people the most that they possibly can. And then the last area you got to look at is the timing. There's companies that you can look at their top 100 money earners, and all of their top 100 money earners have been with the company for 5+ years. So it might be a little late to get in that company, but you can find another company that's been in business, like ours has been in business for 18 years. And we have people who have been in the business less than 3 years that are top 20. So a person
Okay.
it's exciting to me that I could bring someone into this company today, and within just a couple years, they could be, top 100, top 50 money earner in the company. That shows me that it's very healthy and that good things are still happening, within that particular company. So those are 5 areas that I always look at and that I always recommend for anybody that's looking to get into this space. And probably one of the most important ones is you have to get involved with a product that you're passionate about. If you wouldn't recommend it anyway, then I wouldn't recommend joining that company. It always frustrates me when I go look at cars, and maybe I go to a Ford dealership and I see the sales guys driving a Chevy. I'm thinking, why don't you work for Chevy? You like Chevy,
Right.
work for Chevy. So, in these different companies, you want to make sure that you are excited, genuinely and authentically excited about the service or the product, because then you would recommend it anyway, whether you would benefit or not. And that's the place that you want to be.
No, thanks for sharing those, ideas. So you mentioned about third-party verification, and you said Fortune and Inc. 500. Are there any other websites where you subscribe, my subscribers, or even I can go and do more research on the company?
Yeah, you can always go to you can Google DSN, Direct Sales Network, and it really they really stay up to date on what companies are doing well, what companies are have lawsuits against them, and there's that's a great organization that oversees
Okay.
marketing and keeps network marketing, the checks and balances in place and advocates for the industry. So that's and they're very non-biased. So you can go to Direct Sales DSN, just Google DSN,
Okay.
and you can
So
learn.
it's similar to consumers review, or for consumers, right, where they review the cars and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And one more question: how do I find out about who are the top earners in their business and how long they have been with the company?
So you can go to DSN and you can just put in top. Every year they do a list of the top 200 earners. Now all companies don't give that information out, so that's not a all extensive list, but you can look at that. You can see who's making $1 million a year in a company, or who's making up to 150,000 plus $200,000 a month. That's a lot of the people. There's people in this industry that are making up to $1 million a month, and it's just
wow.
It's exciting, the potential. Me personally, I've had $50,000 months, and that's been our best so far. But you got to remember, before this, the most I'd ever made in a month was $7,000. So it's a big change for sure.
It's exciting.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chad, let's take a quick break. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm chatting with Chad Kneller, and we are discussing about network marketing. So thanks for sharing all those points, Chad. Is there a way for someone to figure out if he or she should join a team of network marketer, or just work as a salesperson, or not even do this? How do they figure out if they are built for network marketing or selling their product?
Well, I would say that's really comes down to each individual person. I know for me, when I was younger, I just came to the realization that I was made for more, and I wanted to figure out how I could break through ceilings, how I could remove fences in my life, how I could begin to remove self-imposed limitations, and just thought, I wonder if it's even possible that I could be a CEO, or I could be an owner of a business. And of course, with ownership, with leadership comes more challenges. And the question is, as an individual, does that individual want to rise to the challenge? Do they want to rise to the challenge, or would they rather just go out and earn a living? Because either one's great, right?
Yeah. Nothing's wrong, right? Are you ready to take more responsibilities, right? Are you ready to wear multiple hats throughout the day, or you just want to grind through 9 to 5 job? And both the approaches are fine.
Right. Right. And I know, and I think I talked to you a little bit earlier about real estate, but it's like in real estate, you have a lot of real estate agents that they're happy. They're making a great income selling homes, and they're getting their commission, and they're happy with that, and that's what they want. And then sometimes the real estate agent says, you know what, I want the extra challenge. I want to become a broker. I want to build a team of agents and not just earn money when I sell a home, but also earn money when these other guys sell a
When
home.
someone buys and sells the home. Yep. Exactly. So
yes, I think the same would apply to network marketing. If you want to build something, if you want to build an organization, you want to build a team, you have to really understand that it's going to take some growth. And, one of the things that I like to share with everyone that I can is that if we will change, then anything can change. And I know a lot of people don't want to change, and that's fine. That's their choice. But for those of you that want to learn and you want to grow and you want to change, network marketing could be an amazing choice for you.
Oh, that's a great topic as well. So on the change, I can recommend a book to my listeners. I love that book. It's like a pretty small read. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? And it was given to us when I was working at as a 9 to 5. It was given to us so that we can embrace the changes in the life, right? But it's very important to decide if you really want to do this or something else, but you have to be ready for the change. So that's awesome. I'm going to change the track here because I want to talk about your book as well, Finding Happy. I love the title, and I'm, thanks for sharing it with me. I'm listening to it right now. It's interesting to know about where you came from and where you are right now. So can you tell us more about the book?
Yeah, I would love to. This book for me represents the journey from the lowest I've ever been in life. I share with people that when I met my wife in in the 1990s, I wanted to be a rock star. And so I sang in bands. I had a CD out. I did a lot of shows. And with that, I really embraced the rock and roll lifestyle. And I thought that's what would make me happy. But I realized the more that I got involved with, just partying and all kinds of relationships and all those things, the more that I chased that rock and roll lifestyle dream, the more depressed I actually was. And so what I thought would make me happy really didn't. And now when I'm out of that scene and I look back and I look at all the suicides and the drug overdoses in people in Hollywood, and people who are famous musicians, famous actors and actresses, it's interesting because so many of us just think, wow, if I could have that kind of money or if I could have that popularity, I would be so happy. Well, I learned that the opposite is true. And the more that I had the things I wanted back then, the more depressed I was, until finally in 2003, when I met my wife, I had 6 warrants for my arrest. And I had to go to jail for a couple weeks.
Because you were trying to become Russell Brand of rock of ages, right?
I was. I wanted to be Kurt Cobain and Jim Morrison and all the crazy people that have ever, lived. And so I met this woman, and we found out we were going to have our first child. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I've got to change. Otherwise, what chance does my kid have in this world? And I learned I needed to learn how to be a good dad. I needed to learn how to be a good husband. I needed to learn how to be a good person. And so coming out of jail after that 2 weeks, I really started to make some major changes in life. And I started to move in a positive direction. I started to read really, really good books that taught me so much about things that I could change. Guys like Jim Rohn, and Alpesh, how we met was Kyle Wilson, who was a friend of Jim Rohn's for 18 years. So it's just interesting how when we make these good choices, we start to get ourselves around great people, and it just calls the greatness out of us to become even better. So
it's so important to surround yourself with, great people, as well as network with the right people who will help, who will bring you up than, pulling you down.
That is so, so important. And as I did this, great things started to happen. And in this book, Finding Happy, and the subtitle is 10 Keys to Living an Extraordinary Life, I started learning along the way. And I went from being very depressed and, 6 warrants for my arrest in jail to now, I have 3 children. I've been married I'm getting ready to celebrate my 15-year anniversary next month.
Awesome.
And I look back over the last 15 years and how different it's been just because I decided to take responsibility for my life and to understand that the reason I ended up in jail wasn't anyone else's fault. It was my fault. It was choices I made. And since I made choices to get there, I can make choices to get somewhere better. And that's what I like. The message I like to share with everyone as often as I can is that if we'll change, then everything can change for us. So I talk to people who are very depressed and try and guide them into a happier place in life, people who are broke and just really tired of being broke and how they can make some changes to not be broke anymore. And that's where this book came from, is it's the roadmap for me, how I went from broke and depressed and divorced and suicidal to now being very happy, very successful, having an amazing marriage and 3 kids and a lot of influence in the world and the ability to have helped a lot of people get to where they want to go to.
That's very inspirational. So can you tell us about which is your most favorite book other than Finding Happy and Resilience? Because I know those are your top 2 favorite book, right? So because my favorite book is Resilience.
Yeah, I'm a little biased, I know, and congratulations to you too, by the way, of being a co-author.
Thank you. You too.
Turning your setback into a comeback, and just some of the amazing people that are in that book that we had the chance to write that with. And so, I've got a whole, if you could see where I'm at right now in my office, I have hundreds of books that I've read on personal development, but I'll probably say, well, I'll mention 2 right now, just because it's kind of a timely as far as where I'm at and what I'm going through. But the first one I would say is Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. And the reason I say 2.0, first of all, for any of the listeners that don't know, John C. Maxwell wrote this book, and he's written 110. And out of those 110, 9 have sold 1 million and million plus. And Developing the Leader Within You 1.0 had sold over 2 million when the publisher asked John to rewrite it. And they wanted him to redo 15% of it. And he started reading through it, and he said, oh my gosh, I can't keep that. I can't keep that. So he kept a couple sentences out of the first 3 chapters, and he ended up rewriting 85% of the book. And I just went back through it, and it just goes to show that John Maxwell, who's an authority on leadership, wrote a book that sold 2 million, and 20 years later, he's changed so much and grown so much that now that book the new one is so much better. So that's my favorite book right now. And then John Maxwell's coming out with a book July 30th that's going to be called The Power of 5. It's going to be called The Power of 5. And it's going to be his first ever industry-specific book. And it's going to be about why he thinks people should take a serious look into network marketing. So we're obviously, being a network marketer, I'm so excited for John Maxwell to put his leadership stamp of approval on the industry. And I can't wait to get that book into hundreds and hundreds of people's hands, because it's just the material. We got to sit and go through the material, and it's incredible, and I can't wait to get it.
Just to remind my listeners, John Maxwell is up there with Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar for personal development, leadership, etc. Of course, you can't go even wrong with Brian Tracy, Darren Hardy as well. But yeah, I love John Maxwell's books. So what was the second book you were going to mention?
Well, the second one I was going to mention was that one coming out, which is The Power of 5.
Power of 5.
The opportunity to be, he trained all of us on it and recorded it. So he's going to have a digital course and stuff that we'll have available in the future. But that one, and I love just so many of, I haven't read a bad Jim Rohn book. I mean, I love all Jim Rohn.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing. I love all of his CDs and audios. I'm also going through a book right now with some team of mine called High Performance Habits. And that goes over 6 habits that all high performers have in common. So just another great book. You know what, for me, Alpesh, in 2001, when I was first introduced to the personal development industry, I was almost 30 years old. I'd never heard of personal development. I'd never heard of Robert Kiyosaki yet. I never read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
That's a great book.
Oh yeah, those are 2 of my, when it comes to classics, those are some of the, out of the first 5 I recommend, 2 of them are always Think and Grow Rich and How to Win Friends and
Oh,
Influence.
you got me. Those are my top two books. And the third is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Those three books I always recommend people. Oh,
Yes, those are
they're
games.
up there. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I also want to mention Business of the Century by Robert Kiyosaki, which is solely focused on network marketing.
Yeah, I don't have that one yet. I need to get that one.
Yeah, you should read that as well. So, anything else you want to mention or we did not cover?
I think the only other thing is, I formed a company, an S corporation a few years ago, and it's called Made for More. And the message I like to share with everybody is, don't buy into the TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And I did this for decades.
Me too.
I learned, Alpesh, that in America, more people have a heart attack on Monday than any other day of the week. Like, that is a fact.
That is interesting.
Isn't that crazy? So there's so many people right now, maybe people listening to this right now are miserable on Mondays.
Yeah, I love Mondays.
I love that. I don't even know.
I love every day. Yeah.
My wife said the other day, live every day like you're living a 7-day weekend. And I thought, oh, that's cool to live like that.
Great quote.
So my message, though, is that everybody has something they love to do. Everybody has something they're passionate about, something that they're excited to get up early or stay up late for. And my recommendation for all the listeners and everybody is to figure out how to do that full time. And even if you have to take a pay cut, to be able to live a life where you're happy 5, 6, 7 days a week instead of 2 or 3 is going to be a much more fulfilling life. So I believe that we're made for more. I think that some people are just breathing while other people are living. And I think everybody should truly live, and we all can. So my recommendation is always to just figure out how a Monday can feel the same as a Friday, and I think we'll be on the right track. And so I appreciate you having me on here, Alpesh, and anybody that wants to reach out to me can always look me up on Facebook. My name's Chad, and I'm the only Kneller, Knler, on there. And so just reach out on Facebook. You can PM me there. You can email at findinghappy1@yahoo.com. And anybody can pick up my book at www.findinghappybook.com. And if you're interested in future partnership or anything like that, just reach out, email. And I would love to connect with anybody that has questions or just wants to connect. So I'm just appreciative of you and doing this. And I looked through some of your old podcasts, Alpesh, and I recommend anybody here, if you're looking for ways to build wealth, go through these different podcasts until something piques your interest. And I know Alpesh is just here to serve and can point you in the right direction. So appreciate y'all.
Yeah, and that was the last golden nugget, right? Start living your life right now and do not wait for till you turn 60 or 65, etc. So thank you so much for sharing all the golden nuggets with us. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.